is up, guys? I am Viral Vinnie, and I am back with the E3 one, which honestly was very disappointing. Not bad, not awful, just disappointing. And they did not start the good vibes right off the bat with the fact they had this like live orchestra playing like I forget the name, but the Mandarin, like the little sitars and the bongos, and they had really cool lightning effects or waterfall effect where they had like shapes spelled out in the waterfall as it fell. That was awesome. That was cool, but it did go on way too long. And then that obviously led into Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. I don't think well, we already know the release date, but I don't think it really did much. When they talked about the Horizon DLC. Apologies, no more until like 10 minutes later, where I get all dry and crusty, and nobody wants a crusty, dry. No, but then after the Horizon DLC, they did another gameplay demo of Days Gone. It's more of the same, and also, well, I should say, for the first like 10-15 minutes, apparently the audio was just fucked up on all the streams. Nobody could hear, and it cut halfway through the Days Gone demo. And I understand it sucks. You're live streaming, it's like billions of people. There's technical hurdles, yada yada. I understand. It sucked. It was annoying. But luckily for the first two, like if they had happened later on, it would have been real bad. But because the first three were just like old stuff we knew about and just kind of more the same, it was not that big of a deal. Because especially all that really happened in Days Gone, once the audio did come back, was they spoke more specifically about how you can use zombies to trick enemies. So there was like a base, and basically what he did is he blew up the dam, and the dam got the swarm to come over and attack the base, and he kind of just like sneaked around and grabbed what he wanted while they were all distracted with the enemies. So it shows you can pit enemies against each other. I know, what was it, the Left of Us Last Behind did that, so I'm really intrigued to see what this game can do more in terms of like pitting the two sides against each other and using zombies as like a tool as much as an enemy. Then they just talked about a new Monster Hunter World game. Cool. I don't play Monster Hunter, but maybe this is a perfect example for me to do it. But who knows? And then here's the really weird one: is Shadow of the Colossus is getting a remake, remaster type thing in 2018. It was very weird because it was like, to me, it's just like I don't understand who this is for or why. Because if they were doing, like, let's say the Last Guardian, and they did this the year before, or they, like, I just don't understand what this game is promoting, or like, is it that we're gonna get a Last of Us 2, or sorry, Shadow of the Colossus 2, because then it's gonna be like after the Last Guardian. I'm pretty sure that studio is gonna be fired and shut down. Like everyone's like, all right, you guys took 10 years. And the game just got 7s and 8s, so that's not good. We gotta fire you guys. But still, perfect excuse for anyone who hasn't played that game. It's like fantastic game, one of the best PS2 games. And now you can play it in all the fancy HD, non slow-mo glory. And then they just did a brief trailer about Capcom versus Marvel, and how there's going to be an actual story mode, and the characters are interacting with each other. It's really cool. There's one part where Rocket borrows Dante's dual pistols, and it's just so great. They're treating this like a full-fledged crossover, not like the past Marvel vs. Capcom games, which have unfortunately been mostly just like teasers and no real story mode or no cutscenes, just standard still frame stuff. So it's cool to see that not only are they doing a crossover, they're like treating it well. They're really going all in on this one. Then they talked about Call of Duty. What's it say there? Call of Duty. Then they talked about Skyrim VR. So first off, shout out to Bethesda, because now they're having Skyrim, Fallout, and Doom all in VR. So they were not kidding when they're saying they're going full force into VR. As I said over in the Bethesda video, I was talking about how I want to get a Switch now because Skyrim is like that perfect portable game where you can play for long stretches. You can play it. That is the perfect game where you can play for 2-3 hours. Bring it to work. Maybe do like a castle or a cave or whatever the fuck you do in that game, and then you can bring it back home and do it like just more hardcore stuff. That's perfect. And then on the counterpoint, because you can play Skyrim for so long, that's why it's a perfect VR game. So we'll see how that works, but I am definitely excited. It has me honestly going like, oh, well, I could get it on the Switch, or I could buy the VR, or Switch VR. They'll probably be about the same, and I don't. But yeah, and then they talked more about some weird 2D space game about some space lady called Starchild. Looks cute, just very, is what it is. Then they talk about Supermassive is doing an Inpatient, which is like a VR horror game set in a like a mental asylum, all that stuff. So typical horror stuff, but still in VR. I imagine that's going to be terrifying, and people are just going to piddle themselves all over the place. Final Fantasy. Now, so cut back to a few years ago. By a few, I mean last year. I know they said they were doing a VR mode, and I'm pretty sure you took the role of Pronto, because I remember, well, first off, you have the gun and nobody else has the gun, but then second off, Cindy was like putting on your headset or whatever it was. So I don't know if that got cancelled or this is like a side thing, but the fact is they're doing Final Fantasy 15 VR. That's probably, it's just a cheap little, like, I think Square Enix was like, alright, we need a VR thing with something we can whip up real fast. Like, it is a joke. It's kind of like the Magikarp game that people are playing right now. It's clearly a joke, but it's still, like, it looks like they're treating it well, so I don't know who that's for, but, if you enjoyed the fishing that much, there you go, fishing VR. And then they also talked about Bravo Team, which is just some military shooter VR game, and then Moss, which is some cute little mouse, but I don't know, again, if it's a 2D or a 3D or what perspective the game's played in, but the mouse is adorable, fantasy setting, Gaelic, all that stuff, very cute. They then talked about God of War, which was great. We got more about Kratos' character, more about his relation to his son, more about the world, a little bit more of the journey, and early 2018 release, which I have a feeling is going to, because we'll get into it later, basically there's no Christmas game this year yet again, so I'm thinking what PlayStation is going to do going forward is they don't have a Christmas game, they have that March-February game, because Uncharted was March, Horizon was February this year, so I think they're gonna, instead of doing a holiday game, they're gonna do that start of the year, kind of slow, nobody's around, type thing, which in theory works. It just really sucks there's nothing this year. Like, I would love to play God of War this year, because Red Dead got pushed. Oh shit, well, Red Dead's gonna be early 2018. Probably won't be the same month, I hope. So does my wallet, but the fact that, again, like, right now for me it's like, well, Red Dead's gone, so I'm kind of in this precarious case of like, well, that was the only game I wanted, like, feverishly, and the rest is like, I guess I'll play South Park, I guess I'll play Skyrim, I guess I'll play Destiny 2, so, that would have been, God of War would have been a game I would have bought, like, gone crazy for. So the fact that it's coming 2018 is disappointing, but it is what it is. Talking more about Detroit Become Human, not much to say, it's Detroit. The one thing I'm interested is, they already talked about this before, but each trailer has been a different character, starting way back with Kara, and then we have the robot detective, and then we have these like robots who are forming rebellion and all that, and I'm really curious to see how the storyline works in terms of, is it just going to be a bunch of like one and dones, or is it going to be like Heavy Rain where everybody's story intersect? And so even though we were playing 3 characters, or actually 4, even though we were playing 4 different characters, I don't know how well they intersected or whatever, or like, I don't know if this is going to be like the detective story and then just hard stop, The Rebellion story, hard stop. Kara story, hard stop. Or are they gonna flow, meld? Kara was in the teaser in this trailer for about 5 seconds, like a blink and you'll miss it type thing, but there was no real. So I'm curious to see. It looks interesting. It's one of those things: robot rebellion, like what is human? Robots want freedom, yada yada, all that stuff. It's been done before, but still cool. Wow, sorry. We'll get into this in a second. Didn't know there was Destiny 2. And they just went over a bunch of the PlayStation exclusives, like raids, armors, yada yada. And then it was Spider-Man, and they just showed off that it is very much what people have kind of been guessing. It's an Arkham-type gameplay, but a lot more quick-time events, and like more swinging around the city, and all that. So basically more we saw. It was awesome, it was great, it was fantastic. It also said 2018, and you know, that's sucks, but again, like that's where I'm more surprised is, first off, Spider-Man's so close. Like, I would have thought that would have been a 2019, 2020 game. Like, I thought last year would have been, that's all they had. This year we would have been getting the concept of what the game is and more. But yeah, so that's awesome. But yeah, the main thing is, like, first off, there's no, and the last one was Knack 2 got a release date of September 2nd, I believe. But that was like on the Twitter, that wasn't their official thing. But yeah, so there was no big, wow, holy fucking shit. Like, I know people were freaking out about Monster Hunter, and good for them, I hope they enjoy it. Just, I've never played a Monster Hunter, it doesn't look like it'll appeal to me, so I don't count that. And then Shadow of the Colossus, I was more confused, and it was like, holy fuck, like, what the fuck, they're doing a remaster? That's awesome, that's great. For people who have not played it. Like, for me, again, who have never played Skyrim, the fact that Skyrim's all over these different places, I appreciate the fact that I can play Skyrim wherever the fuck I want, but I do acknowledge the fact that they're really just porting Skyrim wherever the fuck they want, because it's a very easy game to get sales and appreciation, yada yada. So yeah, there was no, like, and then even next year, we know Spider-Man's, or God of War is early, and then Spider-Man's late, but I'm like, where's Days Gone? Because that game, you figure would have been the furthest along in development, and it's still no date. So unless they're gonna stealth release it this year, which I really doubt, again, you figure it'd be the furthest along, but it's just, they didn't give it a date. So 2019, because then they're gonna have 3 games next year, and then there was no tease for new games, and just, yeah, PlayStation did alright. Just solidly alright. They gave a little bit more on information on the games we knew about. I would have loved to see more, like hard release dates, story, like the nitty gritty gameplay detail stuff. But what we saw was fine. They talked about VR, because I was getting an argument with my brother, because I'm like, VR is kind of dead right now. I'm like, we'll see how E3 is, and E3 didn't do enough to revitalize it. It did show enough, like, alright, this is fine for now. Again, it's one of those things, come PSX in December, then we're going to be back to, alright, well, VR's dead, like, what we really got. But yeah, it was just very safe. There isn't a lot of mind-blowing, crazy, out of the ordinary stuff, no 5-year off games. We don't know what Sucker Punch is doing, so it was just one of those things, like, it was solidly okay. But coming off years of Dream 1 and 2, this was just like, oh, okay, yeah, that was good. And I gotta be honest, I still think Xbox One is a bad console in terms of price and exclusivity. But I will give that the PlayStation conference was worse, because Xbox tried their hardest, and again, you can get into the discussion of if buying exclusives is better than making them and yada yada, but the fact of the matter is Microsoft was games. Now again, a lot of those games are going to be like limited, like exclusivities or a port or are you know, smaller indie titles, nothing long lasting, stuff like that. But Microsoft did have games, and PlayStation was like games. I feel bad for Sean Layden, because obviously they had that audio issues, and he came out. He was very nervous. He was, you could tell he was a little upset, a little mixed that things went wrong. But yeah, it just, after the last 2 amazing years, this was a solidly okay, and because it was okay, that's disappointing. So honestly, I am more excited for Nintendo, because right now the E3 time capsule, recording this later, see how the rest of the day goes, but right now E3 really, Ubisoft, even though they had a small weak one, I'd still say they had the best showing of the year, just because of their presentation and their flair and the way they did everything. So we'll see if Nintendo can steal the title and actually maybe win E3, which would be the real shocker. That would be the real mind blower. But until then, again, I enjoyed the PlayStation conference. Nothing bad. It was just, I wanted a bit more. But yeah, so I have been Viral Vinnie, and I will see you guys for the last Nintendo one, which hopefully is going to be 25 minutes of fantastic dreams and amazement. But we'll see. Alright, see you later.